Due to the COVID-19 lockdown in 2021, what we're finding is that we're required to offer alternative tasks instead of the planned formal sit-down examinations. So as such, we're starting to use Canvas as a tool in the delivery of that task. What you're actually seeing on the screen at the moment is the back end of the task, which I wanted to show people so they can understand the preparation that's going on behind the scenes rather than what the students are actually seeing themselves. So you can see at the moment we've got assessment detail, or firstly teacher's advice. This is basically just a little blurb about teachers, how they can actually deliver the exam and what the requirements are. Then we've got these ones here which are already published for students, and you can see there's assessment detail, and in this case here it's a test that's going to be run, or I should say a sample quiz of the test, which we're encouraging students to do so they can understand what's happening. Then there's the details for the alternate task, and then the Zoom. You can see here this is the actual assessment task itself, and at the moment it is turned off. It hasn't been published. They'll come live online at the time of the assessment task starting, and they'll turn off at the predetermined time, which I will show you. So to get a better understanding of what students actually will be looking at and will see, I'm just going to click on Student View here, and this is what the students will be seeing if they've been invited into this examination. At the moment, you can see here, they can click on all of these, but the formal assessment hasn't been launched yet, hasn't been opened, so they don't have access to it. If I come to the assessment details, I just want to go over a couple of things here so that you can see how we're approaching this alternative assessment task. Firstly, the assessment document is loaded here. So in the case of this engineering course, I've actually set this one up. So it's got the course details. It's fairly much the same here, so I didn't bother changing that too much. But I've actually added in here all the study notes required as well. Now this is something that's been done for the engineering class. Other teachers will have other ways prepared for the development of the study notes. These exams should not be printed. They are going to open and close on due times that corresponded with timetables of purchased exams. So we're asking that none of them be printed or be created in any other way. We're talking as well with the browser. The best one it works in is with Google Chrome, so make sure you get it set up. And that's the whole idea while we're actually offering you this experience of a practice exam beforehand, or a practice assessment task beforehand, so you know what you're getting into and you know how everything works. So in this case here, we've got all sorts of instructions that are coming down here, and this will change as per the exam. However, in the engineering one, I'm suggesting, and I suggest to all students, to actually download a multiple choice form. In this case here, it's been set up, download and have this ready, and I'll give you a reason why. It's a handy little tip, but trust me, it's a good one to actually have, A, in case the system goes down, but so you've got it as a backup, but B, so you can help you with your work that you're actually doing. In this case as well, and there will be other cases, other courses, there's a formula sheet. Again, in preparation for the day, I'd have this printed off, ready to go by your side, so you're not scrambling for the actual document itself. So read these are quite important. As we're actually doing this as an online submission, we're asking students to actually have access to a camera to be able to submit the files. The idea is you do the work, come back, take photos of your work, and then be able to submit them. And as you can see here, 5 minutes reading time as per a regular exam, the working time of the exam, and we're allowing about 25 minutes for the upload time. Obviously, we understand that things can go wrong, and this is where communication with the teachers does become important so that people know what's actually going on. So assessment design, in this case, there's 20 marks for multiple choice and 45 in short answer. Now, being someone that's actually done an open book style of examination, I can tell you the biggest trap is going in and thinking that you can look through books and refer to study notes to get your questions done. These exams have been deliberately made slightly larger so that the working time is maximised. So if you're going in there not knowing your content, you are going to waste a whole lot of time in looking. So again, the best way to approach this exam is to know the content before the exam rather than looking for the answer during it. Trust me, if you don't take that advice and you haven't prepared and you haven't done the study for the exam, you will find it very hard to complete all the work in the set time. It is possible to do in this time, but you don't have too much time to spare to go running around and looking for things. Okay, so as we go to next, I'm just going to show you how this actually works. This here is the quiz. Now, this is why I'm actually saying you should have your multiple choice sheet next to you, because as you take the quiz here, you're going to find, well, let's just do this quickly here. I'll just click on all of these. I'm not going to make too much of an effort at all in this. I don't know if I'm getting these right or wrong, and I'll leave the rest there. I'll submit the quiz itself. Okay. Now, in the submission of this actual quiz, you can actually see I got 3 out of 20 right, which is fantastic. I've started and I'm getting some marks, which is great. However, when I actually take the quiz again, and you can see here I got 8 the first time, I got 5, I got 3, okay? So I'm going backwards, which isn't really good. But you can see here, when I take the quiz again, you've actually got to take the whole quiz. All of the radio buttons that were selected earlier have disappeared. And that's why I'm actually saying is if you go through the questions, mark them down on your sheet so that you can refer to it, so you've got a point of reference to go back to. Okay. Again, this is one of the traps as well with an online exam that's being timed. If you keep playing with this to try and get the right answers and you keep trying to work that little number down, and I'll go down and submit this again. The more that you actually stop and play with this, you're going to find, like chasing this perfect number, you're going to find your time is running out. So my advice for this, take the quiz, have your actual multiple choice handwritten sheet next to you so you can record the questions that you've actually marked and they're not going to disappear. And then that way, when you come back to review this, after you know that you've gotten 15 out of 20 right, you can come back and have a look and see which ones you struggled with, okay? It's an exam preparation technique, but it's going to be absolutely handy when it comes to this part of it, okay? The last one that's actually kept is your final attempt. It's your final attempt that is kept, not the others, okay? So just be aware of that as you're working through. Right, so what we want you to do here as well is, again, pending time, we'd much rather you answer the quiz online. So fill out your multiple choice answer sheet and at the end of the exam, transfer it over when you've got the time and you feel that your answers are the best that they can be. If I go next now, you'll see here, this is section 2. Now, it actually has a big button up here that says Start Assignment, okay? I'm going to click on that for a second just so you can see what it does. And it takes you to the end of the actual task and it allows you to upload your files. Okay, so down here's the marking criteria. That's also not marking criteria, it's just to record marks by the teacher at the end. But you can see here, this just takes you to this upload. Right? I'm actually going to come back. Oh, you can actually sit here and you can read all the questions themselves. Here's your instructions. Here's the actual questions that we would like you to do in this case. And again, what we want you to do is do these on paper first. Okay, so here, write on paper 21A, then answer this question. 21B, answer this question. 21C, answer this question. Right? And then once you've actually gone through all the questions, 21, 22, 23, then upload your work here. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is be strategic with your time and upload only once rather than after each question. It's just going to get a little bit easier and streamline your time for you. Right. So that would be the end of the exam as such. If I just go to next at the moment, I'm just going to leave that site there. And I'll come back. Let's just have a quick look at it. So here, once I've opened it, this is the submission, right? It says start again, can't really change the term there. It should be submission of assignment, but you can see here the question's actually sitting here for you to go through and complete, okay? So when you want to submit, that's when you click on this button. Next, now we're starting to look at the actual task. You can see here is the task, alternative year 11 assessment task, 3 details, and it's for engineering studies. This will open at 1 p.m. on Friday the 3rd and close at 3 p.m. on Friday the 3rd. So all those times have been set up. Again, the same details here that we've seen earlier, they're all there. The only thing that we've actually different here with this one is that there's a Zoom video conference that's set up for you. Essentially what happens there is 10 minutes prior to the start of the exam, your teacher, or it might even be myself, will open up this Zoom call to be able to take attendance. So you can see here I've got this ready to go at 12:30. I'll open this up so I can actually answer students' final questions about the process. We're not going to be discussing content, only the process of the exam, and also taking the roll to see who's attended so we can chase that up as well. Okay. Now, if this was ready to go in the exam, you'd find down here there'd be another button that says next, and that next button will appear at 1 p.m. on this day. Okay, so that's where it's all set up, coming back to here. So the exam is actually scheduled and schools should be aware that it's set up for this time period and that's when it will come live. So you'll get that next button. Okay. My best advice to you at the moment, we're looking at all of this and I'll just go home now here. Please take your time, have a look at the assessment details and prepare. Print off these documents that you actually need. Like you do need, I believe you need this, it's a hint, and you definitely need the formula sheet. Print those off and also get things like writing paper ready and calculators and things like that ready so you can actually do the work. Like I said, it comes online then. Please do this test to make sure that you can actually submit the files and we know that you've know how it's done, and that'll be right and ready in preparation for the exam at the timetable time. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Stephen Bower again, if you don't realise that. Reach out, have any questions, ask, or approach your teachers as well for anything that you don't understand or that you want to check. I'm going to leave student view there. Thank you guys for listening and good luck with the final course assessment task that you guys will be having over the next couple of weeks. Thanks. What's it called? It's called screen recording. It's called